Shalom, shalom. This is Solji Azaniah coming at you with a part 2 of my condemnation of the Moabites, the modern day Asian man. Before I start, I'd like to give all praises and all glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Hamashiach Yahushai, Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahushai. Hope this is edifying to the elect and the 1/3, and we'll go ahead and get into it. So here we have one Gook, self-proclaiming themselves, or not one, but their ancient tribal name, self-proclaiming themselves to be, who the Most High has made them to be, which is the Moabite. So here's some Gook prop pottery, and we're gonna go ahead and get into it. You know what I'm saying? All right. So like I said at the ending of part 1, I'm gonna get into these Moabites, the modern day Asian man, China man, or I should say Chinese man, and their hand in our enslavement, and how their hands are bloody, and how how the Most High, how the Most High has the Moabites cursed to this day. You know what I'm saying? And awaiting future judgment. You know what I'm saying? Though they exalt themselves, you know what I'm saying? Just like Edom, so-called white man, their day is drawing nigh. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna start. We're gonna open up with the book of Psalms, chapter 83, verse 3 or verse 1. Keep not thou silence, O Yahweh. Hold not thy peace. Be not still, O Yahweh. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thine hidden ones. So that's, of course, is Israel, Yasharala, prince of the power. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom and Ishmael, and the Ishmaelites, and of Moab, and of the Hagarites. So these are our enemies, man. So our condemnation of them in the streets, and their hand in our enslavement, and their hand in the atrocities against an entire race won't be forgotten, and is justified. When we condemn them. So stop with all that noise that we're supposed to be some kumbaya, slave master loving Negroes, man, because they come into our neighborhoods, man. They open up all sorts of industries, and they profit off of our backs, man. So this is condemnation to you. Gebal, Ammon, Amalek, the Philistines, and with the inhabitants of Tyre. You know what I'm saying? Let's skip down to verse 9. Do unto them as unto the Midianites, as Sisera, as to Jabin at the brook of Kishon, which perished at Endur. They became a dung to the earth. You see that? That's going back to the book of Judges. Judges 7:22. When we chased them, out of our land, man. When they came up against us, and there was a great slaughter. Look at that, and they became as dung. Make them as dung. They already dung. You are what you eat. You eat shit. You're a piece of shit. You know what I'm saying? Damn ugly ass goose. Good for nothing. So we're gonna good for just massage our princesses, man. Maybe a concubine or two. So we're gonna go to this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 16, verse 12. And it says, it shall come to pass, when it is seen that Moab is weary on the high place, that he shall come to his sanctuary to pray, but he shall not prevail. See that? Most High is gonna has them reserved for destruction, man. And this is the word that the Lord hath spoken concerning Moab since that time. See that? But now the Lord hath spoken, saying, within 3 years, as the years of an hireling, and the glory of Moab shall be contemned. See that? They're going to be cast down with all that great multitude, and the remnant shall be very small and feeble. You see that? Your great multitude will be very small and feeble. You'll be bases, man, amongst our people. See that? And you are just small and feeble, man. Just a freaking, just a freaking thing. What's it called? A freaking mamzer. A motherfucking mamzer. No, I think a mamzer is a bastard. You're a freaking what's that word? That word's escaping me. It's okay. You're just an abomination, man. That's it. That wasn't a word, but that fits too. You're just an abomination, a squirming little thing, man. Always coming in last in the Olympics. You know what I'm saying? Always just trying to copy somebody because you have no heritage and you have no fucking skill, man. So you just have all pride. And that pride has carried you, but it's just gonna be cast down. So we're gonna go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 25, verse 11 and 12. And it says, and he shall spread forth his hands in the midst of them, as he that swimmeth, spreading forth his hands to swim, and he shall bring down their pride, together with the spoils of the hands, and the fortress of the high fort of thy walls. So that's China's what's that stupid wall called? Great Wall of China. You shall bring down, and the high fort of thy wall shall he bring down, lay low and bring to the ground, even to the dust. So you're finished, man. So we're gonna go into, the blood on your hands, and we're gonna examine you, you damn gooks, and it's gonna be justified in our condemnation, man. So let's go. All right, so this is the book I bought over the summer. It's called The Black Holocaust for Beginners by S.C. Anderson. I think it's one of Esau's motherfucking scholars, that he gives $1 million to do absolutely nothing but hide our history and call us Africans. But hey, this guy's, I guess he's a whistleblower because he's bringing it out. So we're gonna skip to page 15. Page 15 there. And look what it says, man. By July 15th, 1419, Admiral Zheng He returned to China with numerous African ambassadors who began to negotiate trade relations with China and their respective kingdoms. But it was also known by these African ambassadors, so I'm Spear bears witness, I bet these are Hamites, but it was also known that the Chinese ambassadors not only kept Chinese slaves, so they're imprisoning their own people, which is just gook on gook crime. So let's have more of that. So that's fine, they can enslave their people, but they're not looking at them as subhuman or perpetual, servants. Just like the Irish, they're freaking indentured servants, man. They're not actually slaves, but not only kept Chinese slaves, but also thousands of African slaves. That's where you have your Israelites, man. And we're gonna go into it, man, because Ishmael sold us today, and even in the book of Isaiah, the book of Psalms, 83, like we just read, said it said that they've taken crafty counsel, and it said Ishmael, and right after that it said who? It said Moab. Man, they're all working Confederacy since the dawn of the age, man. So it says, so the Tang emperors were great admirers of Korean women. Admirers of Korean women for imperial harems, dwarfs and pygmies. We were actually the pygmies as well. If you look into history, we actually made up that tribe, and we're prized human cargo as were black slaves from the east coast of Africa, and that's also our people, from Kenya, Tanzania. We migrated into these kingdoms, man, and they surnamed themselves after Israel. If you do your history, that was Israel all up in there from when we fled, man, 70 AD. So this is where it gets good. The extent of the China slave trade is difficult to determine. African slaves were treated little better than beasts or burdens. You see that? We weren't Slovakia. We weren't even considered. We were on we were on par with beasts, with four-footed legged animals. We weren't even regarded as full human, man. Just like the white man. Let's see. They were made to lift heavy weights because the Chinese believed they swam without blinking their eyes. They were employed as divers to repair leaking boats. Many must have died soon after arrival in China, but if they do not die, one can keep them. See, if they don't die and they make it, one can keep them. Like we're some freaking animals, man. Look at these Ghooks. But if they do not die, one can keep them. And after having been kept a long time, so this is a Tang emperor. So that was mainly when we were serving our bondage in 600 AD, but it was a little bit before that as well. And we're gonna get into that, man. When he must have died soon after arrival in China. But if they do not die, one can keep them. And after having been kept a long time, they begin to understand the language of human beings, though themselves cannot speak it. Yo, fuck you, bro. That's all I have to say to you, man. Because when we're out there condemning your ass, this is why. Look what you did to our people. And the blood's on your hand. See what I'm saying? And it's and that pain and anguish we feel from our ancestors, man. We're still lamenting, man. So you guys are gonna get it. All right, so this is some ancient artifacts, because you can't hide the pottery. You know, you can't hide the inscriptions of a time period, ancient inscriptions of a time period, man. So this is proof right here, man. This is during the Tang Dynasty. They called this the Kunlun, which means like black ones. You know what I'm saying? And this was our captivity. You know, when after 70 AD, you know, fast forwarding around 400, you know, AD, when these Ishmaelites, man, sold us, took us to Asia, took us further into Asia, you know, because we were inhabiting Asia, but they sold us and brought us to these dignitaries, man, and we became their servants. This is what they called us, Kunlun. This is during the Tang Dynasty. We're gonna get into it. This is, as you can see, this is ancient paintings of the Kunlun. See, someone posted this, so I shouldn't, you know, I'm not going to, it may not be trusted, but here we go. Day News. Look at that. Where's the paintings? Look at that. Let me read this real quick. At that time, there were two main ways of Kunlun slaves to enter the Tang Dynasty: the tribute of Southeast Asian and South Asian countries, and the private black slave trade. See that? Thus, Kunlun slaves who were sent to court following the tribute mainly served the royal family and nobles, and some were left behind in the Tang Dynasty by foreign envoys. So our people are all up in there. So when he's calling us out of these countries, I think pertaining to Isaiah 11, this is where we're coming out of, man. And some were left behind the Tang Dynasty. But what I truly find tragic is those Kunlun slaves who fell into the hands of civil traffickers. See that? During the Tang Dynasty, these you can't get around your guilt, man. You can't get around it. Look at that. Look at that. Africans and African Americans in China, a long history and troubled present and a promising future? Question mark. No, we don't have a promising future up in there, man. We're getting targeted. We're getting beat. Even beginning of this COVID, man, we're getting hell. Our brothers and sisters are sleeping on the street. We got nowhere to go, man, because they're coming down with great wrath. See what I'm saying? So read this. Since the 7th century, Africans have maintained a consistent commercial relationship with China. During the Tang Dynasty, Arab traders brought African slaves from East Africa to China. We just read it in the book. They compromised one of the many commodities of the Arabs' large-scale maritime trade with China. During this era, the first Chinese cultural perception of African people developed. These dark-skinned people were known as Kunlun. They were described as lower class, ignorant, scary, and dangerous, although they were far from enslaved Chinese. They're far from enslaved Chinese. Some wealthy Chinese preferred the exotic Kunlun slaves. So the Most High was having mercy on us because they found our skin and our hair and the differentiality of countenance intriguing. So I bet Jake was running through them, running through the bitches, bro. But we're still serving hard bondage at the same time. Look, we're treated like less than this like here. We're treated less than human. Look at a brother here. It's painted carrying their heavy weight like cattle. You know what I'm saying? It's all types of demeaning tasks we have to do. Crazy, man. Let's see. Perception get more complex. Range from strong, mysterious, frightening. So here we go. So African slavery in China peaked during the Tang and Song dynasty, 1960 AD. It started before that. It started like 400 something AD if we actually look up the beginning of the Tang dynasty. Dynasty is what the number of African slaves taken to China during the 608 year period is unclear. See that? Just like I read in the book. But it's this point, Chinese perceptions of the Kunlun became more complex. These perceptions ranged from strong and mysterious to frightening. The Kunlun in the Tang Dynasty era were portrayed in numerous stories of the period as heroic, resourceful, ironically, culturally Chinese. But most Chinese during this period, however, unless they were very wealthy, had little contact with the African slaves, perhaps explaining the differing views. So some were looked up as niggers. Some of them were, they had mixed views regarding our people, and I guess that in itself can work out to their benefit because they're not going to get utterly destroyed like the so-called white man is going to get. You know what I'm saying? Because they furthered our affliction like no other. You know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, they still had us in captivity, man. So you're donezo. During the Song Dynasty, the numbers of African slaves increased in China. Most came from Madagascar, or all over Madagascar. Comoros. Where is Comoros? Let's see what it says. Wi-Fi booking. Oops. Comoros. From an archipelago of volcanic islands situated off the southeastern coast of Africa to the east of Mozambique. And we're all up in here, man. This is all Jake. And thus indirectly from Africa, since the Arabs brought sub-Saharan Africans to both areas. Look at that. Most Kunlun slaves in China lived in Canton province. By the time they were mostly viewed as displaced people lacking the ability to adapt to Chinese environment, they were also described as savages with unintelligible speech. See that? See that? Completely disregarding any sort of, significance, as if we're just subhuman. This is how, look, while the Kunlun slaves were dehumanized as savage and scary, Chinese view of free Africans was different. So that's Hamite Israelite conflictions in their minds. Many of the Africans were treated with respect and honor. East African merchants. Anyways, we'll just continue. That's just their glorification of Hamites. But yeah, man, this is the blood on your hands, China, man. This is the blood on your hands, you stupid gooks. And your reign is finished, man. Let's get some more condemning scriptures for you damn beasts. Because you covet Babylon, man. You covet to be just like the white man in all things. You know what I'm saying? You guys have the same history. You know what I'm saying? You know, so you're finished just right along with them, man. Because all nations have taken part in the affliction of Israel, man. So there's not going to be any mercy for you. So let's bring it up. This is another Kunlun piece of pottery that shows, you know, that we were all up in their freaking their kingdoms, man. So it says Kunlun figure discovered in a tomb of Chinese woman in Tang era Chang'an, 850 CE, capital of that dynasty. Kunlun by the Tang period often meant black Africans, as in people from the eastern coast of Africa, from Juba River, blah blah blah. Black people went from a mere philosophical abstraction to actually being to actual beings walking the streets of Guangzhou, serving wealthy Chinese masters in Arab, Persian, and sometimes other foreign traders active in the cosmopolitan port, yet not too cosmopolitan because the movement of foreigners was highly restricted. Let's see. So Kunlun could be associated with anyone of dark skin, such as, you know, Sri Lankan, Javanese. But these Kunlun slaves, Kunlun originally referred to the far west, to the Kunlun mountains of Tibet, and therefore connotated remoteness. Slaves were described as having dark skin, curly hair, and black as ink. So it's our people. Lexical evidence would suggest an origin for these black slaves in Eastern Africa, likely arriving in China on the ships of Arabs. Man, you Ishmaelites are finished, man. Of course, of course that's our people, because, you know, the sub-Saharan slave trade perpetuated by the Arabians, Ishmaelites, are we were the victims of it, man. So there you have it. That's Israelites in China and blood in your hands, man. Let's see, what else can we find? Thus, so arriving in China on ships of Arabs and Persians, and purchased by some wealthy Chinese of Guangzhou and other ports of the empire. Thus, blackness was associated with servility, inferiority, centuries before the coming of Europeans in East Asia. So while you guys were trapped up in the mountains, you damn Edomites, you know, this is how we were viewed as, you know what I'm saying? And then the white man, he was last to join the party, but the most zealous, man. Freaking damn devil. So this was us, man. We were the Jet Lis. We were the martial artists. That was us. This is where they got it from our being in their captivity, man. This is what they had us doing. Jacob is the beginning of all things, man. Let's see. Here's just one that says, but in the Song Dynasty, these black slaves were seen as bestial, semi-human at best. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. All right, so we're gonna pull some scriptures now. All right, so this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 48:2. There shall be no more praise of Moab in Heshbon. They have devised evil against it. Come and let us cut it off from being a nation. Ha ha, just like you did us. Damn Ghooks. Also, thou shalt be cut down, O madman. The sword shall pursue you. You're a madman, bro. See the Most High? You're a madman, dog. A voice of crying shall be from Horonaim, spoiling and great destruction. Moab is destroyed. Her little ones have caused a cry to be heard. See, you're being destroyed even as we speak, man. Coronavirus wiping you people out. You know, there's so much damn population. So much. You know, your population is so massive. You know, just when these plagues start hitting, man, you guys are sitting ducks. It's just gonna catch from one person to the other, to the other, to the other, man. And the Moab is destroying you people. So we're gonna go. Let's see. This is 11. Moab hath been at ease from his youth. He hath settled on his lees, and hath not been emptied from vessel to vessel. Neither hath he gone into captivity. Therefore his taste remained in him, and his scent is not changed. You see what I'm saying? You guys never knew any. You guys were just getting rich off of our backs, man. You guys didn't know any pain. They didn't know any sorrow. You know what I'm saying? If they did, you know, the Ammonites, you know, the Edomites caused great fire to rain from heaven on you people, great miracles, man, from heaven. You know, and even that isn't enough for you to even that is enough for you to think you've gone through anything, man. You guys are done, bro. Let's see. Let's go with 13. And Moab shall be ashamed of Chemosh, as the house of Israel was ashamed of Bethel, their confidence. How say ye, we are mighty and strong men of for war? Because, look, that's what they say. You know, they want to be just like the freaking white man. Say, how are we mighty and strong men of war? Moab is spoiled and gone up out of her cities, and his chosen young men are gone down to the slaughter, saith the king, whose name is Adon of hosts. The calamity of Moab is near, come, and his affliction hasteneth fast. See that? Your affliction is coming, Moab. Just wait on it. Wait on the Lord. Wait on the Lord, man. Your salvation is in chains, bro. That's all you have. Make ye him drunken with sake, for he magnified himself against Adon. Moab also shall wallow in his vomit. He also shall be in derision. See that? Let's go to 27. For was not Israel derision unto thee? Boom. See that? He was found among thieves. You guys are thieves. Thieves. See that? Because you stole God's precious jewels, man. You stole Yahweh's precious jewels, man. He's going to recompense it back into your bosom. For since thou spakest of him, thou skippest for joy. See that? You're finished. O ye that dwell in Moab, leave the cities, and dwell in the rock, and be like the dove that maketh her nest in the sides of the holes of the mouth. Man, run away, because great calamity is coming upon you, man. Great calamity and sore destruction. We have heard the pride of Moab. He is exceeding proud, his loftiness and his arrogance and his pride and the haughtiness of his heart. I know his wrath, saith the Lord. See that? Wrath. Let's just see what he's doing to our people down there, man. Even those damn Muslims that he's engaging, man. Israel's all up in there. And he's doing nothing but oppressing our people. Even though, and that's what they get for trusting, for drinking of, you know, the wine of Babylon. All the nations are drunk off the wine of Babylon, man. And that's what they get for following after the stone, man. See that? Come against our people. Therefore will I howl, O Moab, and I'll cry out for all Moab. Mine heart shall mourn for. See that? Because it's gonna be a sore destruction for you people. It's gonna be a sad day, man. Woe to them who desire the day of the Lord, man. Therefore mine heart shall sound for Moab like pipes, and my heart shall sound like pipes for the men of Keresh, Heres, because the riches that he hath gotten are perished. See that? See that? These riches, you know, these Ghooks, man, they have their royal family, some of the wealthiest people in the world. Tons and tons and tons of gold, man. Tons from when they harbored especially Vietnam and Thailand, when they freaking harbored what was it? It wasn't for World War II. They gave them housing. Yeah. Oh, but they hid some of the Nazi generals, and they furnished some of Hitler's endeavors, but also they gave them refuge and a place to stay during Vietnam. You know what I'm saying? During the Vietnam War. That's where they stayed in like the Philippines. They stayed in Thailand when they were fighting the Vietnam War. That's where they were stationed. So they got rich off of it, man. Rich. So your gold is your riches and your gold, man, is about to perish. And to the Ammonites too, bro. You guys are all finished. Cause all nations, man. And that's a straight cut on everyone can be saved. That's a straight cut to we're all one in Christ Jesus, and they're the straight cut on who the Gentiles are. You know what I'm saying? Straight cut on all that, man. Moab, you're done. So with that, I'd like to give all praises and all glory unto Yahweh Bashem Mashiach Yahushai. I pray this was edifying to the 1/3 in the elect. Death to you nations, death to America. QamYasharala.